We'll call the meeting to order, and at this time, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and please remain standing while Mayor Pro Tem Woods will give the invocation.
Dear God, we ask you to preside over this meeting tonight. Help us to act as a unified team to open our hearts and make fair and just decisions that improve our community. Also, may we come together as a whole with the courage and strength to show kindness and compassion as we collectively work towards the betterment of humanity. Amen.
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 Thank you. Okay, would the clerk now please call roll?
Yes. We do have attendees in person and online. Please, as a friendly reminder for those attending online, please state the city and state you're attending from. Ackley.
Alpena, Michigan, here.
Ambrose.
Here.
Fernandez.
Here, Walled Lake, Michigan.
Thank you. Locke.
Here.
Lublin.
Here.
Osnick.
Here, Walled Lake, Michigan.
Woods.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We do have a quorum. Do we have any requests for agenda changes at this time?
Mayor, City Manager Witt has a couple of requests for agenda changes. First request is to introduce the auditors immediately after this. The auditors from Pfeffer's firm are here to give you an update, and hopefully we've all had a chance to take a look at the hard copies that have been out there and also online, and it's been timely filed. The second request is to allow, to introduce the new county administrator for Wyoming County, New York, and I'd like him to be able to speak to the council from New York. He's sitting in our audience tonight. His name is Mr. Scott Schrader, and he was formerly our assistant city manager. I would point out too that Wyoming, New York is a county of 40,000, but they have more cows than they have people. We're going to give him 3 minutes to say what he needs to say, having served us for a couple of years now. So that's all I've got. We may have another agenda change. May be useful under correspondence. We have a request for some gaming. I'm told that staff did get a resolution together that may serve our purpose tonight, so we may put that on the agenda as the third additional item. I think we have a lawyer here to speak for the group.
Yes, we do have a representative.
And if there's it's the will of the council to pass that resolution, I think we may be able to do that should the council want to do that. So those are the three items I'd like to deal with.
Okay, where would you like these items put on the agenda?
I would like Mr. Pfeffer to be able to give you an update on the audit and timely filing of it and answer any the few questions that might exist, and let him get on the road back. It's pretty cold out there. The other items, Mr. Schrader, I'd like to let him speak under audience participation. And you all know him, even though I introduced him as a county administrator. You know him as being a staff member for the last couple of years. The other one, I think you'd let it fall in where you want, Mayor. That may take some discussion since it came in late and didn't show up on the agenda, but it's worthy of discussion. So we do have a draft resolution staff prepared.
Okay. All righty, we'll just kind of go along and fill them in where we need to. Okay, the next item on the agenda would be then audience participation.
Yes, Madam Mayor. For those audience members that are participating virtually, you may press *9 on your telephone keypad, and pressing *9 will activate the raised hand feature for you to be called upon. For those wishing to speak at the podium in person, We do ask that you approach the podium, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone
Okay.
for audience participation online, Ms. Jackways?
I don't see any raised hands.
No? Is there any audience participation in person?
That'll be Mr. Schrader, County Administrator Schrader. Step up and say hello to your old council.
Scott Schrader, Wyoming County, New York. I just wanted an opportunity to thank you. My time here was a little over 2.5 years, has been extremely enjoyable. And I want to thank the manager, the mayor, the council, staff. You all made me feel very well at home here. I am taking some lessons with me that I have learned from Walled Lake, mainly how well the council shows their appreciation to the staff. I have not had that luxury, if you want to call it that experience in any of the places that I've been before. In most of the, if not all of those municipalities, there has been nothing but casting blame and animosity. So I want to formally thank you for the opportunity that I had here. It was a wonderful experience. I'm glad I had the opportunity to meet all of you, to work with all of you. And thank you for the lessons that you taught me. And if you ever need anything, you have my number somewhere. And I would be happy to converse with you, if nothing else, just to say hi. So with that, I bid adieu, and I wish you well in the future. You're in fabulous hands with Mr. Witt and the staff. And again, I thank you with the bottom of my heart.
As mayor, I would also like to express my thanks to you, Scott, and the time that you spent with us. You've done a lot for the city, and it's been enjoyable working with you. But I want to know, are you coming back in December to be Santa Claus?
No, it's my understanding that Mr. Witt has tried the suit on, and it fits him well. So,
Oh, okay.
so I think he's going to fill in for me.
Yeah.
That might work. I don't know if he can fill the shoes, but we'll see.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we lost an assistant city manager and we lost a Santa Claus. But I think at a previous meeting, maybe it was a DDA, the mayor suggested that Mrs. Claus should get to pick the next Santa Claus. So we're going to leave it at that. But I would like to thank Scott. As all of you know, Scott is a professional friend of mine. We first met over 40 years ago. He's a graduate of University of Miami, the UM, the real UM. He met and started as an intern with me that many years ago. He's run, this would be maybe the fourth county that he's run, city government, county government, and all of that. He should be an example to all of those master's degree settings over there. Scott's your template for success. Sometimes there's up, sometimes there's down, but you learn from every experience, good or bad. He's a good friend. I know his family. I was at his wedding that many years ago, and we're pleased that he spent his time here. He did help us a lot. He helped the entire staff. He bought them chairs. I mean, he bought them new chairs. I didn't buy them new chairs, but he did. So thank you very much, Scott. We appreciate it, and I'm willing to go to dinner tonight with you after this if you're paying. So. Mayor, we can move on. I'd like to get Mr.
I just want to remind Mr. Bennett, we can always stuff that Santa Claus suit, so maybe you should be quiet who you're volunteering.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. Who else did we have that we were going to put under audience participation? Help me along here.
Can we get Mr. Pfeffer up so they can get headed back down?
Sure.
Yeah. John, you ready to get up and say hello?
Well, I would reiterate again, it was great working with Scott over those 2 years, and his door was always open. He was very helpful during the audit, so we're going to also miss him. And along with that too, well, first also identify, again, this is Kristen Polanowski with the firm. She's been with us 15 years. She's majorly involved in the audit. And, you know, actually she does most of the field work and gets all the reports ready. So Kristen, you know, has a lot to do with the audit, so really appreciate all her help. And also she's my daughter, so that does help. I also wanted to, you know, again, as Scott was mentioning, working with the staff and going back to when we first started at the City of Walled Lake, and working with Dennis, and Dennis had just come in prior to us, and we really saw the change in how the staff's attitudes were and how everyone worked together, and it was really, really good to see that. And, you know, again, I always look at those kind of things. It kind of comes from the top, works its way down, and, you know, good leadership. So, you know, again, over that period of time, it's been a pleasure working with all the staff. They do a great job. But I also wanted to mention that, you know, with Dennis's leadership, how important that is. So with that, I would like to get right to the main part of the audit, is that the good news is we issued an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of opinion that we can issue, which means that your financial statements are presented fairly. Again, just to clarify, these are your financial statements, but it's very important. This has to do with the state of Michigan. So when they get the report, which they got timely, they're very happy with the report, and that the opinion had no modifications, which is very important. So the highest level of opinion that we can issue, we did. With that, though, too, is part of the audit, I also like to mention about what's transpired financially over the number of years and then more recently. So again, this kind of goes back to Dennis's time, and a couple of things that have been really good accomplishments, which are very important. And again, it's a little historic, but it's going to be important in a couple other items I'm going to mention. One was that you had a very large legacy debt in your retirement benefits program. And what happened was it was worked out where that legacy debt wasn't going to grow anymore with Dennis's involvement. And then it was continually, the council has worked very hard staying within budget, keeping costs down to be able to continually reduce that debt, which is very important. And along with that, the city benefited more recently with a grant from the state of Michigan, which was $4.3 million. So that significantly reduced that legacy debt. And the good news with that is we're hoping with that you're going to be within the 60% funded number, which you're very close, and you should be this next year, which means that we're in all bases we're covered. That was always kind of an area where we did have some of that legacy debt out there, and you worked really hard to reduce it, but that was very helpful to get that grant. So the financial statements next year will even look a lot better because $4.3 million will come off of that debt. So that's very important. But without even that happening, the council was able to actually increase your equity balance by over 10%, almost $1 million, which is really good. You have to keep in mind during that period of time, you were paying down some of that legacy debt. You were also able to pay off additional $200,000 of the bonds that you have. So again, you're really meeting all the obligations, and it's really good to see. And financially, you're getting stronger and stronger, which means you continually can offer good services to the residents of Walled Lake, which is very important. So again, now you're in ahead of it all now. You're getting to a position where you can do a lot more things, which you've done a lot of great things, but it'll help you even going forward. With that too, I did want to also mention that, again, this is something you did a few years back, which was very important, is when you changed how your water was being billed and how you were charging your customers, you were able to significantly reduce your water loss. And really, that was tremendous for the residents of the city of Walled Lake. That was a big step. That was very important, and that continually improves going forward. So, again, they're little historic items, but, some people have probably forgotten about, but I think it's very important because it really is part of the reason why, financially you've gotten so strong, which is very good. So that was an important thing to mention too. Also, along with that pension retirement, there was also a healthcare benefit liability too, that again, with Innis's help, you were able to negotiate that and not to increase that anymore, and you continually have paid that down. And that continually goes away. So from a financial standpoint, the great news is you're able to add $1 million to your equity balance this year, which is very good. So again, those are probably the most important items I wanted to mention. And then you already did, we already submitted the audit report to the state of Michigan, so you're all set there. So with that, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Does anyone on council have any questions at this time?
I don't have a question, but the unmodified opinion is the highest level
Yep.
in the accounting world, and we as a city can be proud of that. This council, our administration, all our departments, we all have something to do with that, and you're stating what you're seeing.
Yep. Very good.
John, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
I also want to thank you very much. It's always a pleasure having you here, and a good report always makes it even better. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary.
We'll let you go out and get warm and get home, or get home and get warm, I guess is a better way of putting it.
Mayor, I'd like to add to that discussion is that it's this council, the mayor, and city council members and staff, they all work together. If the council wasn't supporting staff, none of the improvements would have been made or could have been made. The reason that we were in such financial bad shape some years ago was because there was not any cooperation or coordination between staff and the elected officials. Nothing's fixed without the support of elected officials, not in any world. Thanks, John. So the council, the mayor and council truly can take credit for fixing the finances in Walled Lake. So thank you for that.
Okay, anything else under audience participation?
Did we
Okay.
did we assign the gentleman who's going to speak on the?
I wasn't sure where he was going to be at.
We can do
Either-
it now if
yeah,
it takes.
That or correspondence, whichever you'd prefer.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
We can keep moving, Madam Mayor, and then we'll just go under correspondence. And then should council decide to wish to see the resolution, we can put it before you.
Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and do it now? There's
Do it
no
now?
need of-
Sure. Very good.
No need of sitting here through the whole meeting.
Very good. Would you mind handing these out for me? This is a template resolution for what is proposed to you. Sir, would you like to approach the podium and address council, please, on your request? Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Rock and roll, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah.
Did you send me something on that? Jennifer?
I did, Madam Mayor, but we do also have it available on the screen for those attending virtually. It'll be before you in just a moment.
Okay, thank you.
It is a request from a group, a 501c3 group called Our Children Hold the Key Foundation. And you should have it on your screen momentarily.
Got it.
All right. Sir, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sorry for my voice, getting over a bad cold. I greatly appreciate your time during this resolution. My name is Derek Bari. I am a resident now of Commerce Township, formerly a resident of Walled Lake for the last 17 years. I'm here today as a board member and also the attorney for the 501c3 foundation, Our Children Hold the Key. This is a foundation combating childhood obesity. We have been founded in 2014, and over the last 10 years, we go around Michigan and we explain to faculty, students, parents about how to help with childhood obesity. As you guys know, 1 out of 3 students ages 10 to 17 have been reported as obese or overweight. And obviously, with all the challenges with bullying, psychological issues and things like that, my sister and I, founders, have been, steadily trying to combat the obesity issue in Michigan, and that goes through presenting students at schools and communities with lifestyle changes, through educational programs, through understanding how to eat healthy financially and not put a burden on yourself, how to be physically active and things like that. As a former Division I football athlete at Western Michigan, I feel that I have the right determination to do this, and my sister is a holistic health coach, and she is also a dietitian. We actually received this license in 2018 through the city of Warren, where we provided bingo events to help the community, to bring awareness and to bring funds to help grow our mission. And today I'm here to see if the resolution will be passed for Our Children Hold the Key to be a charitable gaming license. We would provide poker at Langen's All-Star Poker Room, and those funds would come through and come to us, and we would go around to the community. My alumnus, Walled Lake Central, that's where we like to start. I also attended Walnut Creek, Oakley Park Elementary. So, today it's here just to spread awareness and get the full resolution behind the city of Walled Lake for this charitable gaming license.
So any funds you make off of this would remain, well, obviously not strictly in the city, but in the area surrounding Walled Lake.
Yes, absolutely. We have not took any funds since 2014 for ourselves. Every single dollar that has been received has gone to volunteers or to our mission of childhood obesity.
My concern was that anything that you had, any events at All-Star Lanes would remain in the surrounding areas. That was my concern.
Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, alumnus of Walled Lake Central and Walnut Creek, those were our 2 avenues to start with. However, Oakley Park and the surrounding areas as well. But this would be committed to the city of Walled Lake and Farmington Hills, West Bloomfield, and the surrounding areas.
Does council have any questions?
I had one question. So, kind of going back historically, when last time we kind of had a discussion similar to this, my understanding was if you had a government entity sponsor you, that hit your requirement for a local entity. Does it have to be a specific city in which you do your fundraising, or what are the requirements?
From my understanding, I don't think there's a geographical requirement. However, if the board would like to have the funds stay within Walled Lake, we can, put that forward and, abide by that. But from my understanding, I don't think there's a geographical requirement, but I may be wrong. But regardless, if the board would like, we can put it on the record and the funds would stay only in Walled Lake.
Or at least the school district, because the school district services commerce.
That was it, because the there are surrounding areas within that the school district falls in. Walled Lake Northern is a Walled Lake school that receives funds. Walled Lake Middle School, Walnut Creek, they all do falls along that line.
Yeah, but then you were starting to talk Farmington Hills, and I mean, they have their own school system. I guess I want to see this remain in our area. If we're going to grant you this and have it here in the city at All Star Lanes, then the people of Wall Lake and the Wall Lake Consolidated Schools, all of them, not just the couple that you named, I think it should be throughout the whole Wall Lake School District, should be the benefactors of whatever you make on these programs.
Yes, we can put that into. We're completely fine with that. And I was just referencing areas, but I completely understand, and we are in agreement.
I'd just like, Mayor,
Go ahead.
I applaud your efforts in this charitable organization. Fundraising is not easy, and you're giving of yourself, and it sounds like your sister. I don't have a problem seeing your funds go to the surrounding areas and confining it to Walled Lake or even the Walled Lake School District. I think there's a, I mean, if you went to Farmington High School, which is a different school, I mean, we're all one. So you're willing to put in the effort. This is being controlled by the state. These funds are being, you have audits, and you are responsible in your accounting of these funds.
Scrupulous, and as I mentioned, we have received this license to the Charitable Gaming of Michigan Lottery, and going through that process is very stringent, and there is extreme accounting. However, I think that a vote should be made upon, are we going to let Walled Lake schools receive that, or the surrounding areas? And I brought up different areas just because of the fact that sometimes it's hard to get on these events, and they take time. You have to go through the red tape. So that was the only reason I mentioned that. But if we feel that there are funds that are able to be received throughout just Walled Lake, I'm completely fine with that. My understanding was that it's just sometimes a little bit more difficult, so you go to surrounding areas, and that was the only reason.
No, I'm sorry, Bennett, but I 100% agree with the mayor. I would like to see the funds, if it passes, to stay within the Walled Lake Consolidated School District.
And as I said,
Reasonable.
yeah, I completely understand that. And that if the resolution does pass, as the attorney and founding board member, we are more than happy to, I can draw something up.
Hi, this is Mindy online. Hello, Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there are parts of Farmington Hills that are in the Walled Lake School District. The district has, I think, 15 or 16 different municipalities in it. It's one of the largest in the state, so that gives you a lot of geographic area to work with. My question is about the charity poker. Is this going to be, how many weekends are you going to be doing this at Langen's? And is this going to be an increase in number of poker nights available at Langen's?
With regard to how many we are doing, the state allows 4 sessions consecutively, being 4 days throughout the year. So a total of 16 times will be the maximum amount. And we are looking at, we haven't figured out the exact schedule of how we are going to move forward with which days and which weeks of the month. However, from my understanding, the supplier that has the license that is on Langen's All-Star Poker, there will be no additional days. However, there are significant openings that are available for the days that are already run.
Thank you. And you do have enough board members to cover all of the shifts available for staffing it, right?
That is correct.
Thank you.
And I guess I need to make myself clear. I don't care where the student lives. If they attend a Wall Lake Consolidated School, whatever community it's in, I think they're entitled to benefits from this program. But if they're attending a school that's in another school district, then I think either these people or somebody else should set their fundraisings up in that area. That's where I'm going. I want to see this dedicated to the students who attend Wall Lake Consolidated Schools, no matter what the community that they live in. It's the school district that they're attending. That's where I was headed.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor.
Absolutely, and that was my understanding reading the geographical lines, that there are some areas in surrounding communities, as in Farmington, that do receive funding from Wall Lake Consolidated Schools.
So I don't know what the feeling of council is. I think we could sit here all night and debate it, but if the feeling is that we want to limit this to be beneficial to the students who attend the Wall Lake Consolidated Schools, I think our city attorney in this group could work, if we wanted to pass it tonight. Tentatively, the attorneys could work out the language and bring it back for final approval. Whatever council's pleasure is.
Dan, do you see a problem with what Mr. Bari
Yes, sir.
is
Thank you.
asking for?
No, I don't see any problem. We can draft up a short agreement that would indicate that the funds raised from this particular event
Right.
would be dedicated and limited to the Walled Lake Consolidated School District students.
So then how would we word?
You could pass the resolution conditional upon approval by the city attorney of an agreement with the applicant, so that the funds from the fundraiser would be limited to benefit the students of the Walled Lake Community School District.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
There you go. And I'll support that motion. That
Okay.
being Resolution 2024-01.
Mayor, under discussion, I'd like to point out only this, that the Walled Lake School District consists of about 9 other jurisdictions. So it's not a jurisdictional issue. What it seems to be is as long as they're in the school district, so we don't have to talk about jurisdiction. There's 9 of them. We know that
Right.
from dealing with the school board. So administration, we have no objections to moving forward based on what was just discussed. So we recommend you approve it.
Okay, we have a motion, we have support. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Locke,
Yes.
Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes,
Thank you.
motion carried. Thank you, sir. Good luck in your fundraising efforts, and
Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
so much.
do we have anything else for audience participation tonight?
No, Madam Mayor, I do not.
Okay. Alrighty. Next would be approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting of November 21st, 2023. Boy, that seems a long time ago.
Ambrose will make the motion.
Locke
Okay,
will
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Locke will second that.
Thank you. Any questions, changes, concerns? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Locke,
Yes.
Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, council report. Is there any council member who would like to report on a board or commission that they attend, that they're a member of, or anything to do with an activity of the city? Don't everybody jump up at once.
Mayor, I'd like to just touch on the annual tree lighting. It was another tremendous event held by the city. Great work with the city administration. The upgrades that we've done to the event is even more exciting. The weather has been holding on us, so it hasn't been too cold. But I just wanted to say it's another beautiful event. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Library meets on Friday.
Thank you, Bennett.
What did you say, Bennett?
The library meets this Friday, so, then.
Okay. You always tell us they're going to meet, but then we never hear what they did when they met. But you don't need to tell us that tonight.
Sometimes. I think in November.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, that was a good one.
As long as you tell us when they're going to meet, that's fine. Anybody else? Okay, mayor's report. I think I'll save my comments for the end of the meeting under the comments instead of reports. City manager's report.
Mayor, members of the council, as always, I'd like to begin with a request that the council move to receive and file the consent agenda consisting of the written departmental and divisional statistical reports.
Woods will make the motion to approve. Ambrose will second.
Any questions? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Locke?
Yes.
Lublin?
Yes.
Osnick?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mayor, the second item on the agenda for me is I want to bring to the attention of those listening and to the council members, remind them that the public safety millage is up for a vote February 27th, 2024. Along that line, I would like to call upon the Deputy Public Safety Director, the Chief of Police, who had a pretty active last couple of weeks, to give you an idea of why that millage is important. Chief, are you ready to address the council on several of those items?
Yes, sir. So this past weekend, we all know that the snowstorm hit, so that kept our police officers, firefighters, and public works pretty busy. All of them did a phenomenal job. No major incidents other than, I believe we lost a light pole downtown due to a snowplow. So other than busy and a lot of people in ditches, was pretty successful. The weekend prior to that, January 6th and 7th, were a little less cooperative. We started Saturday morning out the 6th with a shooting call in our Salvation Army Plaza parking lot at 8 a.m. Just shortly after 8 a.m., our officers and firefighters responded to a 41-year-old male who had allegedly been shot. Our officers got there, firefighters got there. Turns out it was not shot. There was rounds fired in the parking lot, and but he was injured from an assault that occurred there from the shooter. So our officers immediately took control of the scene, called in Michigan State Police. We processed the scene, found out that 3 rounds were fired by an unknown male at this point. Investigation continues. The victim, 41-year-old male from Livonia, has been uncooperative, was intoxicated, and we believe he knows who the perpetrator is. So that came from a illegal, someone referred to it as a speakeasy. It was masquerading as a coffee shop, but it turns out that it was a coffee club that was members only by Albanian immigrants. So obviously our code enforcement has taken swift action on that, and the place has been closed. And the last contact we had with the lease or the property holder is that they've terminated their lease, and they've been asked to not come back to the premises. So that is ongoing. That night, we finished up with a,
Can you repeat the time again of the morning that was?
the actual call was 8:07 in the morning was the time of call. We
You
had
said the individual was intoxicated?
Yes, sir. Yep,
Person who was assaulted.
correct. And some of the witnesses had, had been drinking, so. That evening on the 6th, we finished off with a apartment fire on 14 Mile. Our fire department did a phenomenal job. That particular 8-unit structure has been troublesome and has actually been subject to, has exploded once before, I guess in no other way to put it, and has been rebuilt. One tenant was burned out. Several of the other units are damaged severely. The tenant has, through some partners in the community, were able to get her immediate lodging, and we believe we found her long-term lodging. But fire department did a phenomenal job, and were able to keep that to mostly one unit. The investigation is, it looks like a space heater, and unfortunately, the tenant or the landlord knew that the heating units had not been working for about a month. So obviously code enforcement has taken some swift action on that. There's gonna be a lot of hoops to jump through before anybody's allowed back in there, and we're gonna make sure it's safe. So Sunday was not much better. We had 2 death reports. Gentleman, I believe he was 41. I guess no better way to put it, drank himself to death down in 14 Mile in the condos down there. And finished the evening up what the officers did with a suicide on the north end of town. So it's been a busy start of the year, so I'm hoping it slows down. But our police and firefighters have done a phenomenal job. Our deputy fire chief, deputy police chief have all responded for all those and did an amazing job. So very proud of our men and women. So, sorry, a little bit of a downer, but these are the things that our men and women are seeing on a regular basis, and mental health is a huge problem. But our police officers and firefighters are right there. So, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Mayor, I'd like to add to that report. I think the chief was being kind by calling them owners. We have a commercial slumlord who doesn't pay attention to his tenants. That activity was going, the illegal activity, chief called it a speakeasy. That means it's an illegal drinking facility. It's not like he didn't know. Also illegal gambling. What the chief didn't say, keeps it light, because that's what the police are taught to do. That's why we need them. But some of the people, when the shooting began, fled out the back of that establishment through the woods into Wynwood area, leaving their gambling paraphernalia in the field. So we know they were also gambling. And they were drinking, yes, 8 o'clock in the morning, they were drunk. The beating started, I guess, somewhere in the lot, which is near Safari Playground, which is where all the children go to have their birthday parties. The victim, who was actually the assailant, it would appear to me, in the beginning, the guy who was taking the beating got his gun and fired a few rounds. The other fellow went down. He got his beating from the other guy, perhaps from the pistol. Shots were fired in the other direction, not to Safari Playground, but he did go through the window, the door of the family store there, Salvation Army, and lodged in the vending machines inside, which could have included people if it was the wrong time of the day. They also, he struck F-150 red, took a couple of rounds. So shots were fired, even though the man was not hit, in an area where people frequent, where children are there. The slumlord, the commercial slumlord, knew who they were. He was collecting the money. He was doing all of that. He was very quick to terminate their lease after that was brought to everyone's attention. I'm proud of the police and the fire department. They both, both divisions responded quickly, and they were on the scene for most of the day. Some of you folks were available. You came by, you got to see some of that up close. I think the Michigan State Police who come up when processing the scene, that's why you saw, if you saw that on Facebook or wherever else it was, Michigan State Police sent their lab guy over, and he helped process the scene. We appreciate that. But what I appreciate most is my fire chief, deputy fire chief, and deputy police chief were on the scene. I was there for the shooting to process that scene. I'm real disappointed that no one will point to who the shooter was and all of that. So I'm not sure where that investigation is going. But this is why we need the police. This is why we need the fire department. This is why we need the public safety millage to pass. We need those folks. When nothing's happening, you think you don't need them, but that's an example. Later on, the fire downtown, the team was there quickly. As coincidental as it is, I was driving through what I thought was fog until I smelled the fire, and it was actually the building on fire. And so I drove through it before the fire even got to the fire department, the fire division even got the call. So and some of you people witnessed that. That is owned by a slumlord. It's been a slum. It's been part of our code enforcement problem for years. When it burnt up to begin with, they built it back. I think there was some failings there in terms of what was required when they rebuilt it. So we need to take a look at our rental ordinances and stuff. I think we had this discussion at the DDA and other places, so you're going to see about that later on in the meeting. But first and foremost, it's time for the council and members of who may be listening to support your fire division, your fire department, your police division, the police department. We need the millage to pass in February to continue the good service you got. So I'm proud of all of them, but we still have work to do to get that millage passed. That's all I got on that.
Thank you.
The last one I think I've got here is I would like an update, the council on the tax increment financing plan that's on your agenda for later in the evening. I would call on Ms. Jakeway to give the council a quick update, and then we could toss it over to the city attorney if there's any legal questions about how that goes. And to Ms. Pesta, who helped draft that. So go ahead, Ms. Jakeway.
Good evening, City Council. At last week's DDA board meeting, the board discussed amending and extending our current development and tax increment financing plan. Walled Lake's current plan was approved by City Council in 2008. At the meeting, City Administration recommended to the board extending it for another 10 years so we can continue to capture the revenue for our current and our proposed projects in our DDA district. After discussing the statutory procedure for amending and extending our TIF plan, the board did pass a resolution recommending to City Council to amend and extend our current plan. A public hearing has been scheduled for next month at City Council to discuss the TIF plan. Public notices will be sent out to those in our DDA district and to the taxing authorities that we capture our revenue from. The development and the TIF plan is available for the public and for business owners on the city's website under the business tab. Included in your packet tonight for first reading is a draft ordinance amendment by city attorney for restating and extending our most recent plan. I would like to thank Finance Director Ms. Chelsea Pesta for providing the numbers in the tables.
That should do it. If there's any questions, I think it's pretty simple. We're continuing essentially what we've been doing for another 10. Ms. Pesta put together the necessary numbers to develop the plan, and it's approved by ordinance as the law requires. You're amending Chapter 26 of our Code of Ordinances. So we recommend you put it on first reading. You'll get another shot at talking about it at the next reading, probably in February.
Okay, is there anything else that you have? Or?
That'll be all for tonight, other than emphasize one more time, I need the support of council and anybody else who's willing to get out and bring to the attention to the voters that the public safety millage is needed. So that's all I've got for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any correspondence this evening?
No, Madam Mayor, it was addressed earlier in the meeting, so we are all set.
Thank you. Attorney's report.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. As Ms. Jakeway's indicated, the ordinance to extend and restate the development tax increment financing plan is something that does need to be done by ordinance. It is on the agenda tonight as a new business item number 2. The statutory procedure also requires a public hearing and a second reading, and that will occur, and both those things will occur at the February meeting once the proper notices and publications have gone out. Next item, I'd just like to briefly update you on where we're at with the rezoning agreement. Your first new business item tonight is the second reading of a conditional rezoning of the northeast corner of 14 Mile and Decker Road. It was before council at the last council meeting. It is a conditional rezoning, and that is a landowner-initiated process whereby the owner of the property offers conditions that the council can either accept or reject as a condition to a requested rezoning. The property is currently zoned C1. They want to get it to a C2 for purposes of having a drive-through restaurant. We've been told it would be a Starbucks, and then some retail space as well. As part of that process, a conditional rezoning agreement is required. I've been working on that with the attorney for the landowner, and it's something that's required by the ordinance, and the substance of the agreement is laid out in the ordinance as well. I anticipate that we should have something ready to bring before council for their final approval at the next meeting. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Okay. It doesn't look like we have any unfinished business tonight, unless the clerk has something.
No, Madam Mayor, we are all good.
Okay. New business. We'll go back to the rezoning at the corner of 14 Mile and Decker. We have a second reading before us.
Locke will approve second reading.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Support. Nichols support.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a support. Is there any discussion on the motion? No discussion? Then let's have a roll call, please.
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Locke. Yes. Lublin,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item, number 2, is the first reading development of the tax increment financing plan. We kind of touched on that also. We need to have a first reading, a motion for first reading tonight.
Woods will make the motion to approve the first reading, C 372-24.
Locke will second that.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Does anyone have any further questions or any questions on it that they'd like to discuss tonight? None? Let's have a roll call vote, please.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Locke. Yes. Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 3 is the appointment of the city manager to the Wall Lake Transportation representative for the WOTA board. It will almost be, we're starting to go to the board meetings.
Ambrose will make the motion to approve proposed resolution 2024-02.
Fernandez will second.
Thank you.
Mayor, may I speak under discussion?
Certainly.
So that position was held by someone prior to me. Ms. Jakeway is the alternate. I have big shoes to fill, but if you appoint me tonight, I'll try as best as I can to be just as annoying as Mr. Schrader was when he went to the WOTA meetings. It's going to be a tough job, but I'm not looking forward to doing that, but I'm willing to do that. Probably the alternate will be going more than me, but we do not have the best relationship with the WOTA administration. They don't seem to think that Walled Lake has a say. So basically, we go and point out what they're doing wrong usually, and then they do whatever they want because there's no punishment. But I'll accept the nomination and the appointment if you vote yes. If not, Ms. Jakeway will continue to go to the WOTA meetings. I will go if the council sends me. Mr. Schrader, you're lucky you're out of that business. You know?
Did they ever allow Mr. Schrader to sit in at the meetings?
They don't like Mr. Schrader there very much at all.
Well, one time they wouldn't let him sit at the meeting, as I
think
remember.
they told him to sit outside. That was another. That's an example. They were having their meetings literally in some sort of little cabin that you buy from Home Depot, and they had to sit outside. It's absurd. Mr. Schrader points out that you can't pass a budget by motion having never introduced any documents. They seem to do that regularly. They allegedly had an attorney's opinion said that's okay. I don't know what attorney would admit that he did that, but the law requires the introduction of a hard copy of a budget to be reviewed ahead of time, and you never pass a budget with a motion having never seen any numbers. But they witnessed that, and they would bring that back. So it's going to be an interesting time with WOTA, but what we're hoping is all of you know, is the county does grab a hold of that and take it over and provide countywide management of our transportation system so that it's no longer run by somebody who is nothing more than a dispatcher. So
I can only hope it happens sooner than later.
Anyway, I'm ready to take that fight on if you appoint me tonight. So
I'd like to make a clarification. You are not being annoying. You are going to try to get them to be straight and proper and do things as they should. So I didn't like that word being used.
always Mr. Councilmember Lublin is being benevolent. You see, I don't.
Passed and
I believe in synergy. I believe in synergy. I'm going to get him to do what's right. We'll see. You could. I don't have anything else to say, but I will take that job if you give it to me tonight.
Okay. We do have a motion, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else have anything? Let's vote then.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Hernandez?
Yes, and I look forward to those reports.
Locke?
Yes.
Lublin?
Yes.
Osnick?
Yes.
Woods?
Yes.
Ackley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. That appears to be the end of our new business.
There's one more resolution, Madam Mayor, on page
Number
2.
4.
Yes.
Well, something happened when I made my printout here.
Okay. So would you like me to introduce it, or do you have it before you?
Yeah, if you did introduce it, I evidently didn't copy that page, or the printer didn't spit it out, or something happened.
Okay, the item number 4 under new business is proposed resolution 2024-03, the 2023 auto auction bid acceptance and award. The resolution is part of your packet. We are looking for council's approval and bid award.
I do have the resolution. I don't know why I don't have the second page of my agenda.
very
That's
good.
Oh, well. Okay. We got a resolution. Do we have a motion, please?
Beck will make the motion, a resolution for acceptance of bids and determination of award approved by City Council for the 2023 auction and to authorize the sale of said items, Resolution 2024-3.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a support?
Locked, supported, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
Woods would like to make a amendment to modify that to reject the 1956 Ford F800.
Is there, so this is, I guess, under discussion, or is there a,
We can, Yeah, I guess we can go to discussion.
Yeah,
I'll
because.
second that so we can go to discussion.
1956, we have a 1956, what is it, a truck?
Why don't we get rid of that
It's a, let me try to answer it, and then if I don't get it answered, the chief will give his shot at it. The 56 truck is a fire engine, apparently from 56. And back in the day, there were trucks, and they converted them to fire engines. And so it was acquired. I'm not sure anybody even knows how it was acquired, but it's been held by the fire department for years, and they worked on it from time to time. They had it in the barn somewhere, wherever. You would see it around sometimes, and they tinkered with it and tinkered with it, redid things, redid it again. We don't have anyone in the fire department at this stage who wants to continue doing that. It really doesn't serve a purpose for my agenda or our agenda. It's excess. We've not used it. It's kind of a trophy piece for people in the fire service. So I'm not sure where it came from, or the city didn't buy that ever. I don't think they ever bought it. They acquired it somehow, but I don't think they bought it as a fire truck. So we just need to let it go because we've been in possession of it, and that's what we're trying to do is get rid of it. And a firefighter who used to work here, he's somewhere else now. He's got a barn somewhere, and he's all into that fire service thing, and we believe he's going to buy it and tinker with that for another 10 years in his barn, and that's really what that's about.
It's on our, it's in our.
I'm not sure what it is today. Where is it?
It's in the fire station right now.
Is it in the fire station today?
Is it run?
Barely. So it was in the parade last year and it died. We spent $2,500 prior to that to try to get it to run. So it's a carbureted vehicle. It's that old, and it's hard to find anybody to even work on them anymore.
What is the requirement for where it used to be, which was the fire museum in Ypsilanti?
So they agreed to take it and store it and put it on display for, I believe, a year or two. And then at some point they turn around and move pieces around, so it came back to us. But yeah, we did, I believe, ask them to keep it, and they said they didn't have room to keep it.
So there's no place available to put it actually on display then?
No.
Or it's not in the condition to put on display?
It's pretty, but it doesn't run well.
Well, if it's pretty, it can be displayed. I guess there was some place to display it, but.
For me, it's
Okay.
the value is a little bit more right on historical vehicles if you wait till the end of spring. So I think there's some value to it. Being an auction, there's no really linkage, right, for some of the history to tied to Walled Lake. You don't have any guarantees. So whoever won the auction could immediately turn it around and sell it. For me, I think probably the appropriate area to discuss this would be the budget discussions.
That's entirely up to you. You guys make that decision here. It doesn't serve a purpose for us, for me. I'm not sure how much more you can get out of it. We auctioned it because it's excess. If somehow we delay it and try it again or find it, I'm not sure what we do with it if the council doesn't want to sell it. It takes up space. It's not going to be used. It's not in my plans or anybody else's plans. But if it's worth more than what it's auctioned for, we can take it off and redo that and find a better way to get more money if that's the issue.
It is difficult. I believe we only had 2 bids on that vehicle, and it ran in the Oakland Press twice.
Yes.
Okay.
And the problem,
What were the bids again?
I believe $500 and $1,000.
Yes.
the problem with collectibles is they're only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. So, and I love cars. However, and especially the classics, but if this is all we can get, this is all we can get.
Ryan, what were you, did you do some research?
Yeah, historically, right, so for the F-Series, which was a Series 2, 1956, ours has like the hood on top, so it's more of a collectible piece with the date and tires. The value goes around between 16 and 22. So it's
16,000?
Yeah, and 22,000. And typically on typically on historical vehicles, right, you don't sell them during Christmas time because everybody's tucked away in the winter, right? You turn around. Yeah.
That's done though, so we would have to sink money into it, have someone restore it,
No, and a value like that because the fire department has kept better care of it. Yep.
So maybe like a national type auction or?
No, some of the local ones are like even Bittergy. They do municipal auctions and such. But my preference is, the value is more. If it would
So
be a
it looks
discussion.
good.
I think it would be a discussion for budget time where, we could have the data in front of us, what it takes to keep it, what it takes, so we can make do our due diligence on it.
Why don't you amend your motion or I think you try to make an amendment to take it off and we hold it up and take another shot at it at a different time. It's about timing if you believe there's more money to be made. We're just trying to move stuff along, getting rid of stuff that is of no use to our operation. It doesn't mean that you can't get more money. So we keep it a little bit longer and give it another shot with some input from you. So just don't approve them in a blanket motion. Whatever the motion was, I don't recall, but so as long as it's not, we just denied that bid for tonight, and I don't know if he's already been advised, but you can't advise him that he got it until council approves it.
No, I did confirm if they wanted it, and I told them it was subject to council.
Well,
review
I
and
suggest
approval.
you remove it from the award.
That would be John.
and-
John made the motion, I think.
This is Osnick, and I kind of disagree. I look at it as a loss leader right now. It's taking up space. It has no value to us. If a guy wants to pay $1,000 and he's interested in it, it needs to go. If we've already spent $2,500 putting money into that to no value and getting no value out of it, then regardless of whether it's a historic vehicle or not, I think it just needs to go now, even at $1,000. I would not vote for that. I would not vote for taking it off of this list. Let's get rid of it. Let's clear the decks. Let's make sure that we are running a clean and green outfit. That's my assessment.
So at this point, wants the motion to pass as all four. So there's.
With all due respect to Mr. Osnick or Councilmember Osnick, if I don't think we were any worse off if we keep it a little bit longer and try to get a higher price. We won't know whether that's a good idea until we try it again. We may get less money next time, but, and also it would be going to good hands. The guy's a firefighter and he tinkers with that kind of stuff anyway. So if it's just a money issue, if we could get 16, I'd wait, but I have no problem with taking it off and then rebidding it at a better time, another time after winter or whatever. But I mean, I can agree with Mr. Osnick to move on. That's how we put it on the agenda to begin with. Get rid of it. But it wouldn't hurt us to wait. So I think we can accommodate the Mayor Pro Tem's idea without too much trouble.
I support the Mayor Pro Tem on that. It can't hurt for a few months.
Is it blocking any equipment in the firehouse right now?
No, we can move it back to the storage barn.
Yeah. So we've had it for 40 years and.
It's a barn find?
At least, yes.
But it looks good. It looks good.
It's pretty, but it doesn't run and we don't think the pump works either.
Cosmetics are very important in the used market.
If this is going to be a tight vote, I really don't have a say. You guys have the say. I don't have a preference either. I would sell it because I put it on there. I can't argue with his idea that if we get a few more bucks in a few more months, that it would be worth that. So there's no right or wrong here. It's just a preference that you guys have, and whatever 4 votes are tonight is what we'll do.
If we've owned it for longer than 40 years and we believe that we can only get 1,000 for it, I don't think it would hurt us for an extra 6 months.
How long have we owned it?
I believe since '56. I believe the city acquired it. I think.
Are you sure of that? Or we bought that in 56?
56, that's 60 years.
I believe it was the city's first fire engine.
Yes, it's
So the city's 2 years old and they bought a new fire engine.
Yes, that was the first fire engine in the city of Walled Lake.
I see. Oh, that's
Just because it's old, you don't have to get rid of it.
I'm not touching that.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to agree. I'd like to agree. I think that holding off a few months, I think one of our jobs is to be fiscally responsible for our assets. And I think that trying to get the most bang for our buck on this one, I think we could wait a few months.
And I personally am not as, I am in support of getting the most money that we can, but I think something like this fire engine, I think there's some places that will pay for it and it will be displayed and it will be something for the public in the future to actually see in person. And this, obviously, anything over 50 years old is a classic. So, you know, I think we ought to look into it a little bit more than what we have, other than just putting it up to a local auction and saying, okay, let's sell it. So I have no problem in waiting on it.
I do.
Well, I know you do, John, but you know, what can I say?
You have a vote on the motion.
Well, I think you had an amendment to the motion, so you need a vote on the amendment, and his amendment was
To reject the single.
to basically reject that one
I'll
per.
support the amendment.
Well, then if you got an amendment, you got a support. Now you need the mayor needs to call for a vote on the amendment, and then you'll go back to voting on the main motion. Mayor,
Okay.
you got that?
Yes, sir. Let's vote on the amendment.
Which is to reject the bid for the 1956 Ford F800.
Yes.
Okay. Roll call, Locke,
Yes.
Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
No.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now, the next vote will be on the original amendment, and that was to sell it for the original auction bid.
For the three.
Well,
the three
yes,
vehicles,
it would
yep.
be for the three bids. The 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee, the 2015 Dodge Charger SXT, and the 2018 Dodge Charger.
Okay, so we're gonna vote on we're gonna remove this one, or by doing the amendment, we removed it?
The amendment.
The amendment.
Removed it, so we
Correct.
gotta vote on the amendment for the other two. Okay, I'm with you now.
No, the other three.
3, Mayor.
The other three, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We took off on the fire engine and kind of left the other ones behind. Okay, roll call.
Thank you. Fernandez,
Yes.
Locke,
Sorry.
Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's the last item we have on our agenda, if I'm looking at it correctly now.
Yes.
Except we have the mayor's report, which is really very brief tonight, other than it's certainly been a very cold and unusual January. But I would like to wish the best to our leaving assistant city manager, Mr. Shader, and understand why he wants to get back into New York and closer to family, but I think he's going to be missed by the community. And other than that, I just see us moving into a great new year and moving forward, and look forward to seeing everyone next month. What I would like to say, doing as many of the Zoom meetings as I do, the changes that have been made have been great. I love being able to see who I'm hearing talk. It's very frustrating when you're on Zoom to hear somebody talking that you really, if you know them, it's bad enough. But if you don't know them and they're out there in the audience and you have no idea who they are, it's nice that the camera is zooming in on the audience and also zooming in on the speakers that are talking. So it's much better. And I hope that my changes that I've made to my system are coming through better as well. I've greatly upgraded my system, and I hope it's working better for everybody and coming through. But the improvement that Wall Lake's made it's been great. So I appreciate it very much. And with that, I say thank you. Does anybody else have anything tonight?
Well, we didn't do council comments, and I just wanted to.
Well, council comments was not on my agenda.
It didn't print.
But it did not print. But I just wanted
You
to-
had your council comments.
we had sort of reports, council reports.
But if you want to still do council, I looked at my agenda and
just
you're
wanna say
not
one
there. I thought maybe you guys wanted to make a change. But if you would like to make a comment tonight, by all means, we'll do council comments.
All right, well, I guess I'll go first. The auditor mentioned that we are probably over 60% funded with our pension debt. I know we have a lot of thank you to the feds and the state to helping us get there, but that is a great achievement and, something that, we've worked hard to get there. So I just wanted to make that comment.
And I appreciate that. Is there anyone else that feels left out tonight?
Mayor, I feel left out. This is Casey Ambrose, by the way.
Oh, is that who you are?
I just wanted to thank John and his daughter as well for the work they did for the audit, the annual audit. As my colleagues have said, that we're 60% funded and things are just looking better for the city. We still have a long way to go, but it really helped stop the bleeding. I wanted to thank city administration again for the annual tree lighting. It was a beautiful event. Great job. Chief, I'd like to thank you for the work you've done the past couple of days. Same thing with our fire department, with the work they've done. Scott Schrader, I can only say coach is only as good as his teammates. An employer is only as good as his employees. So thank you.
And let's thank
Thank you.
Dan Ladd and our city services for the great job during the snowstorm. Thank you.
Dan wasn't here during the snowstorm. He was on vacation.
Well, I have trained the staff. There you go. Something worked well.
I was here Sunday afternoon when they were cleaning the snow. Dan was in Hawaii.
Oh!
Hawaii.
Smart planning.
Yes, he was. He was in Hawaii.
While you guys were getting your little skiff of sugar snow, I was doing 16, 18 inches of snow. So you didn't get much.
I don't want to brag, Mayor, but we got 3 feet.
Mayor, the rumor has it was thick and it was heavy.
It was very heavy. It was very cold too. Anyone else?
Yes,
have any
Mayor.
Hi,
comments?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to say something.
Sure.
Thank you, and I'm so glad that we have this opportunity to remote in. I'm at home recuperating from a knee surgery, knee replacement. Getting there, but not quite yet. So thank you. And wanted to say to Scott for sure that we really appreciate all that he's done. He was so good with WODA and making sure that Walled Lake does have a voice. We're small, but we're mighty, and we deserve to get the services that we pay for. So we really appreciate your hard work there, and we wish you all the luck in your new endeavors.
Madam Mayor, this is Osanek. I'd like to thank Scott Schrader for all of the work that he's done these past 2 years to help out the city under the able direction of our city manager, who has provided excellent service to this community for the past 14 years. And with that, Scott Schrader, the wood shop is still open.
Madam Mayor, I'd also like to thank Scott Schrader for all of the time that you've spent with us. It's been a real pleasure, and I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you. And then flipping that, while it's been a crazy start to a year, I rest assured every night that our men and women in uniform are looking after our safety, whether it's police, fire, or even Dan Ladd and the DPW. I really thank all of you guys for keeping our streets safe.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to jump in and say the comments are similar across the board here. Scott Schrader, appreciate all your efforts. Attention to detail, going through and explaining things and talking about processes and procedures, right? We get it from the city manager, we've had it from Scott, and you see that flow down to the staff. The police and fire, they've been busy, right? But you guys were attention to detail. Going through and plowing the snow Friday, Saturday, Sunday, coming back through a couple passes, making sure, turn lanes and curbs and everything were perfect. You see that detail across the board. So appreciate all the work that everybody does.
Mayor, I'd like to talk to the Mayor Pro Tem to let him know that not everybody thinks we're that special. Somebody on Chestnut Ridge began to say bad things and throw things at snowplow drivers. Somebody down on the cul-de-sac throw the shovel in the street, throw snowballs because he didn't like the way the street was plowed. So we don't make everybody happy. You may even know who that is, but we're aware of that. But we keep on snow plowing. Yeah. So.
Those people should drive around the neighboring communities. The one that I visit every day is
We only took out one mailbox during the snowstorm when we were plowing. Only one. I think that's all we got. Is that got right there?
Correct. It was one, but it was just the snow that pushed it over because the wood was rotting.
Just one mailbox. So that we call that a good day if we only got one mailbox.
Wasn't
hit. I have one more comment. We all need to support our public safety
absolutely.
millage at February 27th. So that's very important. Community, this is something that we have great services, and we need to support that
I'd like
millage.
to continue them.
You do.
Okay. Anyone else? I have to concur with everyone. I think I got a lot of reports on the DPW crew this past weekend and the prior weekend on the police fire incidents that were going on. I think some of the people couldn't believe that we had what we had going on in Wall Lake, but they don't understand why we can't be every place at all times investigating these things, but I think they do happen, and unfortunately. So we have to be a little bit more mindful and maybe get some of these landlords a little bit, I don't know, pay attention to what they're renting to and stuff like that. But for the most part, I would say we do a great job, and the feedback I'm getting back from the community is super. Like I said, the one person told me, they said, I don't think I ever saw a DPW truck go by so many times in one weekend and plow. And I said, that's because we're doing a good job. We want to keep those roads clear. So anyways, I didn't get any complaints. So that was the good part. Everything was very favorable. So on that, if no one else has anything, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Olsenek.
Okay, is there all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
See you next month.
Good night, Mayor.
Good night.